I recently hit the streets of Summerlin to talk to the locals about what they think about living in Summerlin, and unanimously, they all love it. Of course, what's not to love about this beautiful master plan community here in Las Vegas? But in today's video, we're gonna dive into not only the pros, but some of the cons of living in Summerlin to give you a more holistic picture. If you're new here, my name is Olga. Welcome to my channel. I make videos about living in Las Vegas. I'm also a real estate agent here in Las Vegas. I help people like yourself move to Las Vegas, buy homes here, sell homes here. So if you have any questions related to real estate, not just in Summerlin, but all over the Las Vegas Valley, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm gonna put my number right here. I would love to be a resource for you. And now let's hop into today's video. Starting with pro number one, Summerlin is a nice place to live, offering a great quality of life. Summerlin is a beautifully planned master plan communities. It's often voted as one of the top master plan communities in the United States. It is very well manicured. It has so many parks, over 230 to be specific. It has beautiful desert landscaping. It has really nice outdoor malls, downtown Summerlin, for example. If you live in Summerlin, your property values have gone up significantly over the last several years. So obviously very beneficial to current homeowners living there. If you're in the market for a new construction home, there are plenty of new home builders that are building up in Summerlin. There's so many builders to choose from KB Homes to Pulte to Toll Brothers, so much more. And they all offer a variety of different styles of homes. So there's a little bit for everyone. And these new builds are fairly available, or you might have to wait a couple months, but there's just a lot to choose from if you don't want to get a resale home. When it comes to living, if you are somebody who is younger, there's a lot of options for you. There's a lot of different apartments. There's a lot of new apartments that are popping up. Some are walking distance from downtown Summerlin if you're looking for that more walkable lifestyle. If you have kids and a family, there's definitely something for you in Summerlin when it comes to living. There's townhomes, there's single family homes, and there's also quite a few 55 and older communities. For example, Sun City Summerlin is one of the biggest communities, one of the well-known communities, and there's several others to choose from for active seniors, and they have really cool amenities like walking trails, clubhouses, fitness centers, you name it. Like I said, there's something for everyone in Summerlin. Lots of options to choose from when it comes to housing, and it is really a nice place to live. And this brings me to con number one. Because Summerlin is such a desirable place to live for a lot of people, the cost of living in Summerlin is higher than the rest of the Las Vegas Valley. To sum it up, it is more expensive to live in Summerlin. The median price point for a single family home in Summerlin is $645,000, and it's about $328 per square foot. And this is definitely higher than the rest of the Las Vegas Valley. It's also appreciated at a really fast rate. The price points for single family homes are up by 17% just over last year. To give you an example, one of my friends bought a home in one of the new communities in Summerlin, one of the new build communities by Pulte Homes called Reverence. He bought a home there in 2020 for around $900,000. That home is currently worth around $2.5 million. A home right across from them just sold for $2.5 million. It's a very similar floor plan. So the appreciation has been very rapid and the property values are just going up drastically. This is obviously really great for my friends and other people who purchased within that community, which opened in 2017, but a massive con for someone who is trying to move into the community in 2024. This brings me to con number two, and that is additional fees, including HOAs and SIDs. There's basically no escaping HOA fees if you live in Summerlin. While there are some areas on the outskirts of Summerlin that don't have HOA fees, but for the most part, you are gonna be in an HOA community, whether it is gated, guard gated, or not gated. And of course, these fees range from $20, $30, $40 upwards of hundreds of dollars a month. Something else that is unique to master plan communities like Summerlin are SIDs, which are Special Improvement District fees. These fees are attached to the properties and they are required, and they go towards improvements of sidewalks, curbs, gutters, lighting. In newer parts of Summerlin, like the Reverence community, these SID fees are gonna be on the higher side, around $750 a year. But in areas that are on the more affordable side when it comes to cost of housing, for instance, the Pueblos, these fees are around $50 a month. SIDs are similar to HOA fees, but they're actually added on top of your HOA fees. So if you are living in a master plan community like Summerlin, you are gonna pay some sort of an SID fee. And they don't mess around. If you don't pay your SID fees, they will foreclose on your home, even if your home is paid off. So fees like the HOA fees and SID fees are definitely a double-edged sword. And some might consider this a pro because while these fees could be on the annoying side to pay an additional cost every month, but it does ensure that communities stay well manicured, they keep order within the community, and they help maintain your property value. Moving on to pro number 2, and that's Summerlin's design. Summerlin's design is impeccable. A lot of foresight and planning went into the design of Summerlin by the Howard Hughes Corporation. Summerlin's modern urban planning principles were designed to create a vibrant, sustainable community that's very easy to live in, very easy to navigate, that's very convenient in nature. There was a lot of careful thought that went into the design of Summerlin in its roads and its highway system particularly. So the roads are very wide. You'll see a lot of roundabouts, which you don't really see in other parts of Las Vegas, that help regulate the flow of traffic in a really safe way. Also, the 215 and the Summerlin Parkway, they go through Summerlin, so it provides easy access in and out of Summerlin. You can jump on the freeway very easily and head both north and south. There really isn't a ton of traffic or congestion in Summerlin because of its well-designed nature. Summerlin was carefully and thoughtfully designed into over 25 different villages that cater to different demographics and offer a lot of different design styles. So there's Spanish styles, there's Mediterranean style homes, condos, townhomes. So really a little bit of everything when it comes to the style of homes that are available across these 25 plus villages in Summerlin. A lot of emphasis went into creating parks and open spaces. There are over 230 parks. There's a lot of pedestrian friendly design aspects. So there's a big emphasis on people getting outside, walking, running, biking. There's a ton of biking trails. There's actually the 215 Beltway Loop, which allows bikers to ride along the 215 highway for miles. It's very easy to get on and off this path. There's a big emphasis in Summerlin's design on being outside, being active, and just being out and about in a really easy manner. Summerlin also offers a lot of walkability. So particularly near downtown Summerlin, there's a lot of apartments that are in walking distance to all of the shops, all of the restaurants. So if you're someone that really enjoys that walking lifestyle, then Summerlin does offer that for you. The careful planning extends beyond residential and recreation into commercial space. So for example, shops, businesses, business parks are all very well designed and easily accessible. Downtown Summerlin is a great example of dining, shopping, business all in one area, very easily accessible. There's parking all around downtown Summerlin. I never have an issue finding a parking spot, which is amazing. It's easy to get in and out, and it offers a lot all in one area. I could go on and on about the design of Summerlin. It's one of my favorite parts of Summerlin. I actually recently recorded a video, and it's a comprehensive guide on Summerlin. So So make sure to check out that video. I go over Summerlin in detail, and I do focus on its master plan and how thoughtfully it is laid out and planned. Moving on to con number 3, and that is Summerlin's public transportation. Overall, Las Vegas is not super well known for having the most robust public transportation system. Of course, it does offer some options, which is great, but the options in Summerlin are more limited. While there are some options connecting Summerlin to the rest of Las Vegas, for example, there are the RTC bus routes, including the Route 206, which connects Summerlin to downtown Las Vegas and the Las Vegas Strip. And there are some express routes that connect Summerlin to downtown Las Vegas and other parts of the city with limited routes, but those options are still fairly limited. I personally think that having a car is very important, borderline a requirement, just because Summerlin in itself is pretty spread out, and the Las Vegas Valley is also very spread out. It's definitely something that makes your commute much more convenient. Of course, there's also Uber and Lyft, and those are great options, but I would definitely say the public transportation is limited compared to other cities and communities within other cities. I will say, if you are someone that wants to live in Summerlin but does not want to have a car or is not able to have a car, living in downtown Summerlin is a great option because downtown Summerlin is super walkable. There's apartments that are just minutes away from downtown Summerlin and Red Rock, so it makes that shopping, entertainment, dining area super easily accessible. And you could walk to Trader Joe's, which is located also in downtown Summerlin. So if you're looking for the most walkable part of Summerlin, it is downtown Summerlin. Okay, so moving on to pro number 3, and that is outdoor activities. Summerlin is just an amazing place for outdoor activities. There is so many options when it comes to doing things outdoors, everything from parks to hiking trails, to biking trails, to golf, to pools, to tennis, pickleball courts, basketball courts, and outdoor malls. Summerlin is nestled by the Spring Mountains and Red Rock Canyon, so there are miles and miles of hiking trails and walking trails all around the area, and the trails range from beginner to moderate to very strenuous, so there's a lot of options for everyone. There's basically trails all around Summerlin for pedestrians, for walkers, for runners, for bikers, and just anyone who is wanting to be outside and be active. There are 10 golf courses in Summerlin alone. There are many more around Las Vegas, but Summerlin has some amazing golf courses. One of the most famous golf courses in Summerlin is the TPC Summerlin. It is famed, it is very well known. A lot of people want to play TPC Summerlin. It's a bucket list item for a lot of golfers. And they've also hosted the PGA Tour at TPC Summerlin. There are a lot of communities in Summerlin where you can actually walk out your front door or your back door and you are just minutes away from Red Rock Canyon. A friend of mine lives in Reverence, which I've mentioned before, and I've actually walked out of her house when I was staying with her with my dog, and I was able to just start hiking right outside of her neighborhood. So it took me 1 minute to get on the hiking path. So the accessibility for hikes in Summerlin is just unreal. It's so easy and there's so many options. And speaking of hiking mountains, and this brings me to pro number 4, and that is Summerlin tends to be a couple degrees cooler. Because of Summerlin's elevation, which is 3,500 feet, it tends to be a couple degrees cooler, both in the summer and in the winter. So in the summer, when it's 110 degrees on the Strip and in other parts of the valley, it is a little bit cooler in Summerlin. So you do get a little bit of that relief, especially if you want to be outside, go on hikes, go on runs, you do get that little break. I mean, it is a couple degrees and it's still very hot. So it's not a massive difference, but it does help a little bit. Also in the winter, those couple of degrees make a difference, and you could see some snow, you could see some flurries. Of course, that snow doesn't stick and you won't see it on the ground for more than a couple of hours. And while you won't even see it at all on the Las Vegas Strip, you do get glances of snow in the winter up by the Red Rock Canyon. I did a quick search and I found out that temperatures drop by 3.5 degrees for every 1,000 feet that you increase in elevation. And some parts of Summerlin go up to about 5,000 feet in elevation. So that could mean about 8-degree difference in temperature from the lower elevations on the Las Vegas Strip to Summerlin. And while we're on the subject of weather, this actually brings me to con number 4. And that is the wind in Summerlin. I recently did a video where I came out to downtown Summerlin and I asked locals about living in Las Vegas, and that day the winds were so high that my hair was whipping everywhere. We had to keep changing locations because it was just even too windy to talk to people with my microphone because of the sound was getting muffled. And quite a few of the people that I spoke with actually mentioned the winds as something that they didn't like about being in Las Vegas. And the reason why it is windy, particularly in Summerlin, is its proximity to the spring mountains. Dry air comes up from the west over the mountains, and as it whips down, it picks up speed, creating gusts of winds in Summerlin. And I spent a lot of time in Summerlin, and I will say that it is windy often. I was recently at my friend's house who lives in Summerlin, and their furniture was flying. The cushions that you sit on that do have some weight to them were flying, and they do have to take precautions and chain things up and put things away because it is windy very often and the winds are strong. So furniture could get picked up, and it is something definitely to be pretty cautious about. The winds are not unique to Summerlin. You will definitely experience winds on the Las Vegas Strip, in Henderson, and other parts of the Las Vegas Valley. But Summerlin does tend to be a bit more windy because of its proximity to the mountain. And there recently has been a storm where there was trees knocked down. There was some pretty severe damage that happened from the winds. So it is something that the locals do mention and that I see for myself quite often. Moving on to the last con that I could find, and trust me, it was really hard to find any more cons about Summerlin, but this one might not even be a con for some people, but I will say that it is a con for me, and that is its proximity to the Las Vegas Strip and the airport. So being a real estate agent, I am someone who drives a lot and spends a lot of time all over the valley, in Henderson, Lake Las Vegas, in downtown. I am also someone who flies a lot, so proximity to the airport is really important to me. So Summerlin is about 20 to 25 minutes away from the airport, depending on where you are. In Summerlin, from downtown Summerlin, it's about 20 minutes. So while you might think 20 minutes is really not that far, sometimes you might hit traffic, though there's been a lot more traffic in Las Vegas in recent years because there's a lot more construction and road work. The city is working really hard to accommodate a lot more cars on the road. It's doing a lot of improvements. So all good stuff, but definitely creates a lot more construction, and the construction actually leads to longer times traveling around the Strip, around the airport. You know, it's not really that far of a distance, but it still makes a difference being closer to 15 or 10 minutes away from the airport, maybe 12 minutes, makes it a little bit easier. And also just being more central for someone like myself who navigates a lot of the different parts of the valley is important. To give you an example, if I had to meet a client in Lake Las Vegas and I lived in Summerlin, it would take about an hour for me to commute over there, while from the Las Vegas Strip, it's about 35 minutes. So it does cut down that time, but especially in rush hour traffic, that time increases by quite a bit. I would say that this is a con for me, specifically because I am someone who goes to a lot of the different parts of the Las Vegas Valley and often travels. So those things are really important to me. This might not be a con for someone who does not work on the Strip or visit the Strip often. I know a lot of Summerlin locals like to spend their time in Summerlin or in Southwest, but I'm also someone that has a lot of visitors that come to Las Vegas, and they oftentimes want to go to restaurants on the Strip and want to sightsee on the Strip and want to go out on the Strip. So that commute back and forth would also be something that would add a little bit of a difficulty. So all in all, I know that Summerlin is really not that far from the Strip and from the airport. So con for me, but perhaps not a con for a lot of people, and that's okay. That might be the case. I wanted to squeeze in one more pro into this video, and that is Summerlin's highly ranked schools. Summerlin is part of the Clark County School District, and over the years, Summerlin has really performed well on the list of highly ranked schools. There's over 25 public and private schools in Summerlin. Some of the highly regarded schools in Summerlin are West Career and Tech Academy, Palo Verde High School, and private schools including the Meadows School, Faith Lutheran Middle and High School, and Alexander Dawson. Schools in Summerlin are known for their strong academic programs, high test scores, and great college placements. Many of these schools boast modern facilities, including advanced technologies within classroom, athletic fields, and art centers. While Nevada as a state has not ranked the highest on a lot of the education lists, the schools in Summerlin often rank very high on the list. For example, the West Career and Tech Academy in Summerlin ranks #2 in the whole state of Nevada with over 95% graduation rate, with US News giving it a score of 97 out of 100. Okay, so there you have it. If none of those cons have scared you off and you still want to move to Summerlin, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I put a QR code so you can scan that and easily set up a meeting with me. You can also give me a call. I'm gonna put my number right there, or send me an email. All of my contact information is below, so I could be reached in a number of different ways, and I would be happy to answer any more questions you have about Summerlin or the entire Las Vegas Valley. I have a lot more videos in the queue about Summerlin, about Las Vegas, about Henderson. So stay tuned, and I really appreciate you supporting my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.